everyone here to keep calling Pelosi. Pelosi still does not understand the definition of genocide. She has yet to demand an end to this genocide, an end to US aid to Israel, but we will not let her continue to act against the growing masses who are demanding justice for Palestine. So today we are going to ask you all to participate in an artistic expression of the grief and rage we feel over 40,000 lives that have been taken by Israel with the full support and backing of the US government. In front of us is a banner, and you'll see people with small paintbrushes. On each of the squares of this banner, we want to place 200 seeds. And those 200 seeds will become 40,000 seeds. And these seeds continue to flower and grow the Palestinian struggle for full liberation and the worldwide masses who are standing with Palestine. The loss of Palestinian lives is a crime against humanity, and the International Criminal Court has found Netanyahu guilty of crimes against humanity, a charge that the US government mocks. And the US government mocks it because standing right behind Netanyahu is Biden, his administration, Pelosi, and countless of others elected officials who are also guilty of crimes against humanity. And those are not just crimes in Palestine. Those are crimes in the Philippines, in India, here in the United States, against the indigenous struggle here, against black struggle here, against the movement to end police violence. And you will hear from all of those movements today, because we are part of one global movement. And so I'm going to invite up Tina to lead us in a chant as we welcome our plaintiffs and lawyers to speak.
Free, free, free Palestine. Free, free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
And the occupation, now's the time.
And the occupation, now's the time.
Say rise up, rise up, rise up.
Rise up, rise up, rise up.
Say rise up, my people, rise up.
Rise up, my people, rise up.
Say rise up, rise up, rise up.
Rise up, rise up, rise up.
Say rise up, my people, rise up.
Rise up, my people, rise up.
Free, free, free Palestine.
Free, free, free Palestine.
And the occupation, now's the time.
And the occupation, now's the time.
Say free, free, free Palestine.
Free, free, free Palestine.
And the occupation, now's the time.
And the occupation, now's the time.
Say I have a dream.
I have a dream.
From the bay to Palestine.
From the bay to Palestine.
All our people will be free.
All our people will be free.
Free, 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 free.
Free, 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 free.
Free, free, free Palestine.
Free, free, free Palestine.
And the occupation, now's the time.
And the occupation, now's the time.
Say free, free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
And the occupation, now's the time.
And the occupation, now's the time.
Say and the occupation, now's the time.
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 Make some noise, y'all.
Woo!
Give it up for our plaintiffs.
So first, we would like to call up Layla El-Haddad, a plaintiff in the case of Palestine versus Biden. Please come up, Layla. Come on, you all, express our unwavering solidarity with these plaintiffs who had the courage to stand up in front of a U.S. court who has participated in the murder of their families and tell the truth, a truth that has never been heard before in the U.S. federal government. This is historic. Please come up, Layla.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming out. I know it's a Monday morning, but we appreciate the love and the support. I'm from Gaza City, and many of you know I've lost hundreds of my family members, and I just wanted to set the context. Today marks day 249 of genocide, the most well-documented genocide in history, and it's a genocide against my people, against my family, against my brothers and sisters. But I also want to say it's against all of our brothers and sisters in humanity, and I think it's important to remember that. Every single member of my family at this point has either been killed, is being starved, has been displaced, and all of them have been dispossessed of everything of meaning and value to them, in the most deliberate and well-documented fashion, the intent of whom has been made clear since the beginning. In a genocide that has been enabled, aided, abetted, financed, covered for, manufactured consent for by our government, by President Biden, and that's what brings us here today, even after knowing full well the impact of the weapons that he is sending. His failure to act in preventing this genocide has led to all of this. 9 months on, all of this is preventable. When we first filed the appeal, 11,000 Palestinians have been killed. Now the number is over 40,000. Why? We also have gathered here not just to seek legal recourse, and I think that's important to remember, but to affirm our unwavering commitment to truth and justice and dignity and security for the Palestinian people. And though the question before us is, will the courts allow a genocide to proceed? Or will the rule of law prevail over tyranny and oppression, even if that means the president himself? It's more, though, than just a legal proceeding. I would say it's a moral call. It's a moral call to the conscience of America. And it's a declaration that complicity in genocide will not go unnoticed or unchallenged. It is not just about holding the individuals accountable, but it's about sending a message that we will no longer turn a blind eye to the complicity of this president in the suffering of Gaza and in enabling an ongoing and unfolding genocide. So though we are out there in the courts fighting to stop this heinous genocide, I want to end by just urging everyone to keep fighting in every way that they can. That is the mandate of my family in Gaza. The moment demands it, the children of Gaza demand it, and silence and inaction are no longer options at this moment. So let this moment be a testament to our collective resolve, and let it echo through the halls of power and across the globe that we will not rest until every child in Gaza can sleep in peace, every family can rebuild their lives, and every man and woman can live in dignity and freedom. Don't stop talking about Gaza, don't stop organizing, don't stop educating, don't stop challenging and pressuring the systems that have allowed this to happen. We will not rest until this genocide is over, until liberation, until we see a free Palestine. Thank you.
Now I'd like to call up Catherine Gallagher, who's with the Center for Constitutional Rights. The Center for Constitutional Rights is the lead legal organization, along with Hout and Associates, taking this case to the federal court. Catherine, please come on up.
Thank you to everyone who's come out today to support the plaintiffs, to support the legal team, to support the call for the United States government to stop aiding and abetting genocide, and for this court to apply the law, the protections from destruction of an entire people. That is the obligation of the court, and we are hoping and demanding that the law is applied equally for Palestinians, that the executive branch is bound to the very laws that it enacted, the Genocide Convention, the criminal prohibition to commit genocide. The court has a role to play here, and so does everyone who's here today. So thank you very much for coming out. We're going to keep pressing. We're going to keep pressing in the courts. We're going to keep pressing on the streets to demand that the Biden administration stop sending the weapons that are furthering this genocide. Thank you.
So for all of you who don't know the Center for Constitutional Rights, they're a very important organization who fights not only for civil rights and constitutional rights in the United States, but also the upholding of human rights so that it actually has meaning and teeth internationally. So thank you, Catherine. Thank you, the Center for Constitutional Rights. I would now like to call up two plaintiffs, Ahmad Abaful and my comrade Monad Al-Herzala from the U.S. Palestinian Community Network. Can you both come up?
Thank you very much. Just a correction, I'm not one of the plaintiffs. I represent Al-Haq, which is an organization that is also taking this case to court. Thank you all for showing up today. I think we're witnessing history in the making. For the first time in history, the Palestinians are speaking to the American people through their democratic institutions, through their judiciary. It has always been that the American people heard about the Palestinians, but never from them. This is not by accident, this is by design. And now we're challenging this narrative. The Palestinians are speaking for themselves. We saw in the earlier proceedings, the Palestinians drawing on their experience in Gaza, but also on that of their grandparents, the Nakba experience, the ethnic cleansing of the Palestinians from their home villages and from their ancestor land. And today I think this court has a historical opportunity to prove to the American people that this system is truly a system of checks and balances, and that the executive branch, the U.S. administration, cannot just violate international and U.S. law and cannot be complicit in this genocide. So we hope that the court do the right thing and stand for the law, for the rule of law. The law must prevail. And the executive branch, the U.S. administration, must not be allowed to be complicit in this genocide. Palestinian children are being torn apart in Gaza, including my own family, by American weapons. The three defendants, the three criminals, Biden, Blinken, and Austin, they have blood of Palestinian children all over their hand, and history will not be kind to them. Thank you all for showing up. Thank you.
Marhaba everyone. Thank you again for being here on a Monday morning. And I wanted to share with you some thoughts as one of the plaintiffs. As you all recall, most of you were with us in Oakland in January 26th, and we had no idea that this genocide will continue till today. The most critical thing that we had to deal with is our emotions as plaintiffs, our families, talking to them to Gaza every single day, knowing that this genocide is continuing. It was very difficult for us to maintain the fight against the causer of this genocide. As we are grieving, as we are hearing the news about each and every day people being killed. As a plaintiff, on January 26th, we have lost over 100 members of our families combined. And now we're talking about over 230 members of our families killed. And what has happened also, it created a bond among us. And really as a family, plaintiffs and lawyers, as a family, we're really fighting the injustice, fighting this genocide. Now we went to court, and one of my relatives were asking me, are you going, what do you think is going to happen? And is Biden is going to be there? And I tell her jokingly, I don't think Joe Biden will come because there is something that you need to do in court that he will never be able to deliver. He has to say, I swear to say the truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God. The only truth. He's been a lying, he's been murderer, he's been misleading the Americans, he's been misleading the world, and he is affirming his long time continuing support for the Israeli government by saying back in the 80s when he say, if there is no Israel, we will create an Israel. That's exactly what he is doing. Israel is not by itself. Therefore, we are not only talking about Israel. Israel is the entity that is applying this imperialist attack against the poor people of the Arab world, against people of Lebanon, people of Palestine, people of Gaza, people of Yemen, who is defending their dignity. They're continuing this genocide, and we see ourselves, nobody is standing except the people of the world. We will continue the fight for that. So I think it's really important that because we learned the steadfastness, as Sister Sarah said, the perseverance from our people in Gaza. We really do that. And I really recognize my sister Sarah from the anti-Zionist Jewish organization, who are very courageous, and we are seeing the growing number of Jewish supporters to really uncover or expose this administration against the genocide. Therefore, if you are being attacked or intimidating by calling you an anti-Semitic, this is a word of saying we can do whatever we want. We can do whatever we want. That's the code they use. You accuse us of being anti-Semitic. And I wanted to end by just for people who are watching us from overseas, I want to greet the people of Gaza, if you don't mind, in Arabic. I want to tell them that we are standing here and take your word and really make sure that we are in support of you every single day and we will never stop. And I say, بحضورنا أمام المحكمة الفيدرالية نسجل أمامكم كفلسطينيين ومتضامنين مع قضيتنا الفلسطينية لكل شعبنا الفلسطيني في قطاع غزة البطل، في الضفة الغربية، في كل جزء من أرضنا المغتصبة منذ عام 1948، في حيفا، في يافا، في كفر قاسم، في أم الفحم، في كل جزء من أرضنا المحتلة منذ عام 48. نسجل أمامكم بهذا الحضور أننا سنبقى نناضل بكل أشكال النضال المشروعة والمتاحة حتى تتحقق كامل الأهداف الاستراتيجية العادلة والمشروعة التي انطلقت هذه الحركة الوطنية الفلسطينية أساساً لتحقيقها على الأرض الفلسطينية والأرض العربية. And basically, as we are looking at mainstream media cheering for 4 hostages and don't do anything about over 1,000 Palestinians wounded and killed, we went to the court as one form of struggle. We have no illusion that we will win the court immediately, today or tomorrow. But what we have a very strong feeling that we will continue. We will continue fighting every single day. And we are, as a plaintiff, being sad and grieving for our family. In the same time, we are standing because we follow their steadfastness spirit. So that the enemies of Palestine, the enemies of justice, may win a case here or there, may win a political fight here or there, but they will never, ever break our spirit. Never, never. Ever since Nakba of 1948, we've been fighting this injustice. Even we know that this is our authentic narrative. If you're not aware of the story of the Palestinians, we need to talk. We need to learn more about the Nakba. We need to know that this is a fight between an authentic narrative and fabricated narrative. Actually negative, that's right. And when they are using artificial intelligence to kill children and women, no one will do that unless it comes from artificial narrative. Artificial narrative use artificial intelligence. While our heroes are defending their children, their women, and their families every single day. I am very confident that we will continue this in every possible way we can, in all the legitimate legal ways that we will do and struggle. We want to continue, do the boycott, sanction, and divestment. We salute our students who are doing encampment. We want to divest their investment, from the universities' investment in divestment. We salute the labor unions who came across and then courageous to pass resolutions that push for divestment. All these things all together will help us not only win the court, the federal court, but we win the court of the people. So we will finish the fight together. Who's gonna continue the fight? Who will continue the fight? Who will continue the fight? Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay, please join me in uplifting the samud, the steadfastness of Palestinians in their struggle as we invite up Vince Warren from the Center for Constitutional Rights. And I'm going to ask all of the plaintiffs, the co-plaintiff organizations, and the lawyers to come join behind. Please come on up and join as we hear from the last two lawyers. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey everyone, it is great to see you all here. It's great to see you. And at the Center for Constitutional Rights, we understand something very deeply, is that the law can be used either as a tool of oppression or as a tool of liberation. And we are all out here to demand that this law be used as a tool of liberation. And what are we asking for? We are asking for this administration to stop sending arms that are used in the course of this genocide. We have to say that again, because sometimes people get this stuff twisted. We are asking our administration to stop sending military assistance and arms that is used for the killing of Palestinian civilians. That is why we are here. And I want to thank you all so much for all of the efforts that you do, all the time, every day. Because, don't nobody want to talk about this. Have you noticed this on your social media feed? You say something and people don't want to talk about it. We're in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, and guess what? The Biden administration doesn't want to talk about this. They don't want to talk about it. They want to get our case dismissed on a technicality. They don't want to hear the pleas of Palestinians, the hundreds of thousands, millions of Palestinians that are dealing with this. They don't want to hear from American Jews that say, not in our name will we allow this to happen. They don't want to hear from black folks who have lived through a genocide and indigenous folks who have lived through a genocide in this country about what this is like. Don't nobody want to hear it. Well, let me tell you something. We will not give the Biden administration a blank check to commit genocide. We will not do it. And when we talk about our plaintiffs, when we talk about the Hout law firm, my colleagues at the Center for Constitutional Rights, these are extraordinary people. But we are also picking up the legal part of the work that the movement is doing. I've been in this game for a minute, and I have never seen the groundswell of support for Palestinian freedom like I am seeing right now in this country. Right? The tables have turned for the Israeli government. The tables have turned for the United States government's blind support of whatever the Israeli government is want to do. The tables have turned for people that need to understand that you can vote and move for Palestinian lives and not be at all anti-Semitic, right? If we're going to reject binaries in this country, that is a binary that we need to reject right now. Bravery. Bravery is not acting because you're not scared. Bravery is acting despite the fact that you are scared. And the people that are standing here and their families take the most extraordinary risks. Every day I was talking to Layla, who was a family member, that there's no place that they can move. There's no place that they can go that can be safe. And we in this country are having these large discussions and in this courtroom about legal precedents and having discussions about whether these cases can actually be heard by federal courts. So here's the thing I want to tell you. That two things. Number one is that we've never won anything without extraordinary acts of bravery, which means that we have to hold the people that are scared. We have to hold the people that are suffering. We have to lift up the people that are willing to fight. We have to support the people that are being cracked down upon because they are fighting. Because no battle in history, no justice in history has ever been achieved by just sort of phoning it in. We have to be out there on the streets. We have to be out there on the courts all the time. The second thing that I want to say, and the last thing I want to say, is that there's another thing that's at stake that happened in this courtroom today. The question that the court is actually considering is whether it is possible for us as citizens and for Gazans and for people who are suffering to be able to hold any administration accountable for participating in genocide. The courts are debating the question of whether that's even possible. Katie Gallagher, who did a brilliant argument today, Katie said to the court, it is not possible. We cannot be in a country, we cannot have a rule of law that doesn't allow for our administration to be held accountable for participating in a genocide. It just simply can't happen. So, yeah, right on. So, just so you know what's happening in this courtroom today is that we are in a pitched battle for the soul of this country. And we're in a pitched battle for the soul of the rule of law. We need a decision that says absolutely this administration can and will be held accountable for participation in a genocide, not just in the context of Gaza, but in the context of everything. Thank you.
Okay, first I'd like to invite you all, if you want to stand closer in the shade, you are welcome to. But Mark, I'd like to invite Mark Vanderhout up. And this is not Mark's first case on Palestine or anything else. Mark also legislated two very important other cases on Palestine. One was against the LA 8, against a group of Palestinians who were arrested and incarcerated for handing out newspapers in support of the ongoing struggle in Palestine. And Mark fought, and as Vince said, the arc of justice is long, and it requires perseverance. And that case, that 20-year case, was finally won. Palestinians have not fought for the past 8 months, for the past 75 years. They have been in a struggle for their land, their way of lives, their homes, for over 100 years. So I want to invite Mark. Mark also legislated a case against the Anti-Defamation League. And as Vince said, this is a struggle for all of our freedom. Because in that case, the ADL was being sued for spying on 1,000 social justice organizations because they were anti-racist, because they were anti-apartheid. And you know why? because they were terrified, because they understood all 1,000 of those organizations have an investment in ending Zionism and in dismantling the colonization of Palestine. So thank you, Mark, for your work, and please tell us a little bit about this case.
All right, thank you, Sarah. What's important here is we're litigating this in the court of law, but our clients, these wonderful plaintiffs here, and some who couldn't be here today, have already won in the court of public opinion. And you bring cases like this because they're important to bring. They're important to challenge the government for what it's doing and the outrageous actions of our government in supporting the genocide that is going on in Gaza now. That you bring these cases knowing that the courts of law are part of the system. And we win sometimes these cases in the court of law, and we lose them sometimes in the court of law, but we win them in the court of public opinion. And that's what's important also. And you all who have come out and you've been doing this for so long, not just since this case was filed, but before that, and in the decades that people, I know some of you, because I've been in the Palestine support movement for, I don't want to admit, 50 years now. And I know many of you have also. And what's important is continuing the struggle and speaking out and knowing that we are right and our clients are right and our clients know that they are right. And as Sarah mentioned, there is a huge campaign, right? And we know this, that anti-Zionism is not anti-Semitism. But that's been used a lot. I'm Jewish. And I think it's very important when I'm doing cases like this to say I'm Jewish. Because the Jewish community is not monolithic. And it does not, many people do not support what the government of Israel is doing. And that's extremely important for Jews to be speaking out. JVP and the other organizations, Sarah's organization, it's extremely important that that continue. Now we've got a fight here. We brought this case, and our brave, wonderful clients brought this case, and our wonderful, I just want to say, CCR has been amazing to work with. So thank you, CCR. And Katie, you were great. That's fantastic. For the whole team. And I want to give it to my partner, Johnny Sonotis, who also is on this case. But what's important is that we know we're right. The arc of justice will be coming in our favor eventually. But in the meantime, people are in the streets. People are in movements, doing what they need to do to try to stop our government from doing what it's doing in support of Israel right now. Part of the struggle is in the courts, but a lot of the struggle is in the streets, and that's what we have to thank you for. I'll just close because Katie talked about this and others have on the legal issue. We're trying to hold the government responsible and that no one is above the law. And I just want everyone to remember, Joe Biden has said that several times in a different context, right? President Trump, no one is above the law. Well, Joe Biden, neither are you.
Tell me what you want, what you really want. Tell me what you need, what you really need. Tell me what you want, what you really want. Tell me what you need, what you really need. How we gonna get it? Say how we gonna get it? How we gonna get it? How we gonna get it? Tell me what you want, what you really want. Tell me what you need, what you really need. Tell me what you want, what you really want. Tell me what you need, what you really need. How we gonna get it? people rise up.
Rise up, my people, rise up.
Say from the river to the sea.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free.
From the river to the sea.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free.
From the sea to the river.
From the sea to the river.
Palestine will live forever.
Palestine will live forever.
From the sea to the river.
From the sea to the river.
Palestine will live forever.
Palestine will live forever.
Then long live international solidarity. Long live.
International solidarity.
Long live.
International solidarity.
Then long live.
International solidarity.
When indigenous rights are under attack, what do we do? Rise up, fight back. When indigenous rights are under attack, what do we do?
Rise up like that.
When indigenous rights are under attack, what do we do?
Rise up like that.
All right, make some noise, y'all.
Okay, if people need water and snacks, there are some over here on the far right. If people need ASL interpretation, please join the live streaming. Right in front here, you will see people painting this banner, making very beautiful designs out of seeds. We are covering this banner in the next hour with 40,000 seeds divided into boxes of 200 seeds each. Please join us in honoring the 40,000 Palestinian lives that are being responded to with a growing mass movement, the greatest masses with Palestine we have ever seen, that are part of all people's movements. So please join us down here. I would like to bring up Nida, my co-MC, and turn it over to you.
Thank you, thank you. It's so wonderful. Free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine.
Free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine.
We call you and you show up every time, Bay Area. We love you and we will continue to show up for Palestine and we will continue to fight until we go home to a free homeland. All of us, from Turtle Island to Palestine, we will always stand up for the indigenous struggles and resistance of self-determination everywhere. And today, a member of the American Indian Movement and indigenous liberation leader, Leonard Peltier, has a parole hearing in Florida. They're going to hear the case of his release. Despite a lack of evidence against him, he has spent nearly 50 years in our injustice system's prisons. Please join me in welcoming George Galvez from Indigenous Justice and from Courage, and Morning Star from Indigenous Justice, both who are working with Stop Cop City Ohlone Land in honoring Brother Peltier's commitment and sacrifice for the movement and international struggles for indigenous self-determination and sovereignty everywhere.
From the river to the sea, till Palestine is free.
Till Palestine is free.
Till all my people are free, free, free. Till all my people are free.
Till all my people are free, free, free. Till all my people are free.
Till all my people are free, free, free. Till all my people are free.
Till all my people are free, free, free. Till all my people are free.
Good morning, relatives. We have an intertribal delegation of First Nations. I want to invite all our delegation. We have elders. We represent many different nations, including California nations, from right here in this area. And we are here this morning to stand in solidarity
globally with all indigenous people, all indigenous struggles, and especially for our relatives in Palestine right now. Our destinies are inextricably connected. The same playbook they're using in Gaza was used right here in the so-called United States, a campaign of genocide. Right here in California is the legacy of what we call the 3 Gs: greed, gold, and genocide, which manifests itself in today's capitalist mantra of maximize profits, minimize expenditures, where we value money before we value people. We are here to demand the compassionate release of our elder, Leonard Peltier, who has been down for 49 plus years. So we ask you to join us in those prayers. I'm going to pass the mic to my sister, Morningstar Galley, who's going to do our land acknowledgement and also share some words. Then we have a California blessing song from these lands right here. And then we have a drum, and we have Leonard Peltier's nephew here, and we're going to offer the Leonard Peltier song.
Shimisanwita.com, greetings relatives. It's an honor to be here in solidarity with you again today. We have been here many times at this courthouse, across from the courthouse, fighting for our right to pray, fighting for protection of our sacred places, fighting for the right to defend our lifeways and our survival. And so to be here with you today, to stand in solidarity with you, we understand and have experienced the same criminalization for being who we are as Indigenous peoples. We understand and live the same violations that occur with the ongoing human rights violations and Indigenous rights violations. And so we're here in solidarity, we're here in prayer, we're here to offer these songs and be here together, as it's an important day in the freedom for Leonard Peltier, in the freedom for justice, in the freedom for liberation. It's been over 20 years now that we have been in solidarity with our relatives when we gather together on Alcatraz Island, and it was a really beautiful gathering this year where we had thousands and thousands of relatives coming together in solidarity and welcoming into the circle. And so at this time, we want to invite you again, for those that have been on the front lines for the past 8 months, for those that have been putting their lives on hold, as we call for awareness, as we call for justice, we invite you up here to offer with us these prayers. We had a gathering in Oakland where we had an Indigenous solidarity event where our elders, they traveled 3 hours away from Round Valley, California to be here with us today. They travel in the justice for Leonard Peltier, in the justice and support of Palestine, and of all of the movements of the violations of our rights as Indigenous peoples. And so I'm going to hand it over here as we're gathered here on Yalomu. We recognize our Ramatash Ohlone relatives. We recognize all of our Ohlone relatives from Muwekma in the south to the Kakeen in the Richmond area and right here within Ramatash territories. And so I'm going to pass it over to Edwina Lincoln here, and she's going to share some words, and we're going to offer some prayer songs here. So it's beautiful again to be here with you, with all of you, and thank you for this time.
Oh, Yahweh, to my name. Just want to say, we know what the struggle is. We know what the fight is. We've been doing it all our lives. We was born into it. To be able to, first of all, to protect our water and Mother Earth itself. And then the lives, the human lives, and the unborn and the newborns that don't have that chance. So we know this. We know the struggle. We know this fight. We know that pain inside. We know that spirit that they try to destroy from us. But that's what's going to keep us going, is remember that we are strong individual people. We have that spirit. That spirit up there is going to take care of us. That spirit up there is going to guide us into freedom. It's going to guide us into us that believe that we're there to take care of the land, we're there to take care of the water and protect it, because that's what life is all about. So I just want to say for my brother Leonard Peltier, you know, seeing him struggle through all these years and the talent that he has, and to know the pain that he's going through, to be able every time to stand up and to say, free Leonard Peltier. We know how the justice system is. Everything that they did wrong and all these stories and everything. And seeing the feds and seeing the government in the United States change the wording inside that was for real. What was for real? You know, they have that power, they have that right, and they have the money to pay off all the judges. They have the money and the power to pay off these people to keep us incarcerated and take our lives. This is what the bottom line is. So we just want to share those words today with you guys. We're with you, we're in prayer, we're in ceremony, we know what it is. You know, we have to come together. We have to unite together as a whole, no matter where we come from. The truth, the belief, the songs, the spirituality of our life, our walk of life, that's what's going to bring us to this freedom. Oh.
We're from right up north here in Round Valley Reservation, and our reservation was done in 1868, which is kind of late for a lot of people, and it's kind of actually 1849, around the gold rush times when our people got so-called discovered. So I don't know, and brothers never told us nothing, man. They should have, the Lakotas and all those cats, but you know, it is what it is. And as far as like all the pain and everything, we felt that too, you know, and because they've done the same goddamn thing to us that they're doing to the Palestinians. You know, vilified us and called us savage, and anytime we try to strike back, you know, they call us all kinds of names and shit, and there it was, you know. But you know, we're in solidarity with Palestinians always, even longest walks to 1978, we honored them going into Washington, D.C. But we're here, you know, we're just here to support and help out the situation in Gaza. And all indigenous people feel that pain, you know, so I think all indigenous peoples of the world are now speaking out, finally, you know. So that's good. Oh.
Now we're going to bring up Adam Villagomez, nephew of Leonard Peltier.
Aho, Majakyap, hello my relatives. So Leonard Peltier is a symbol of the continued oppression of the United States against the indigenous people. We have lost so much because of the attempted genocide, and there are families, there are whole tribes who are not here anymore. You see it in a lot of countries, and there's 50% of the indigenous population still alive. We have at the most 3%. We understand genocide. We understand the attempted annihilation, and it still continues today. We're still fighting to get our sacred sites back. We're still fighting to be treated as equals. We're still under attack. Every day we have to fight because they're trying to erode at our sovereignty. When they dealt with us as nations, the United States chose to deal with us as nations. They cannot make a treaty with any entity lesser than itself. So they recognize us as nations that were equal or greater than themselves. No one can take away your sovereignty. We did not give up our sovereignty. And us indigenous people, we still stand by that. Our spiritual people still stand by that. There are many of us that they've killed, there's many of us they've made sick, and many of our families are still suffering from the oppression. But we are still here. We are survivors, and we believe in that same tenet that the Palestinians do. Generation by generation until liberation. And we will never back down. We will never give up. Our bloodline and our ancestors continue. And so we, just like Leonard Peltier, are a symbol of the resistance of our people. And our generations will continue on. We have young ones that are continuing on. We have songs that were not here, now they're here. The old ways are coming back through the young generations. We're in the fulfillment of prophecy because the 7 generations are here. There was a time when the hoop was broken, and now it's being mended. And now we have young ones that the ancestors are talking through. We have grandma spirits that are coming and guiding the people. So our way of life has not died. It is not withered. It is growing, and we are getting stronger. So we are here in support, and we thank you for your continued support of Leonard Peltier. Oh,
Last thing we wanted to just say, sorry sister, we want to encourage everybody here to please follow Stop Cop City Ohlone Land. They are currently constructing a Cop City. Those of you who've been following what they've been doing in Atlanta, in Muskogee Creek territory, they're doing the same thing in Mohawk Maloney territory in the East Bay, in the city of San Pablo, California. And they plan to be trained by the Israeli occupational forces to export. They want to export the same oppressive techniques that they use in Gaza to suppress organizing and movement building of Black, Indigenous, and people of color right here in the Bay Area and across the country. This is a part of the suppression with Project 2025. Look it up. So in closing, we say, free Leonard Peltier, free Palestine, and free them all. Thank you.
Say, I have a dream. From Turtle Island to Palestine. All our people will be free. Set free, 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 free. Set free, free, free Palestine. 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 Where people are occupied, resistance is justified. Where people are colonized, resistance is justified.
I want to thank my siblings for that medicine. We felt it deep in our souls. Thank you so much. We must continue to support all fights for Indigenous self-determination here and everywhere. I invite all people of the world to begin taking their own governments accountable and using their own justice systems to hold them accountable for the war crimes they're committing against the Indigenous people of their lands. And over the past 8 months, the Arab Resource and Organizing Center has been helping lead that support here in the Bay Area and help thousands of members of our diverse communities and movements in the Bay Area to have a way to stop this genocide. And over the past 2 decades, AROC has organized some of the most significant boycott, divestment, and sanctioned victories here in the Bay Area against Israel, including Block the Boat and Stop Urban Field. Please help me in welcoming a steadfast and strong Palestinian and the executive director and leader of the Arab Resource and Organizing Center, Lara Kaswani.
Hello, Bay Area. In January of this year, we showed up in the thousands at the Oakland Federal Court at the beginning of this case, just like we showed up today in San Francisco at the federal court to let the world know that the people are taking Biden to court. That the people charge the U.S. government and the Biden administration with genocide. That despite the fact that we live in a world where the apartheid state of Israel can violate every international law, can be charged in every international court, can be condemned by every international human rights organization, we will not allow our government to continue to not only support and be complicit, but to make possible the genocide in Gaza. That we will not give Biden that blank check, even though Biden is giving the blank check to Israel. That is what we are here saying today. But as you all know, we are not only showing up in court. In every single court in the entire world, we are showing up in every single street and every hall of power. Because it is our responsibility, now more than ever, to make sure that we create the conditions to make it impossible for this government to continue to aid and abet in a genocide. It is our duty to do everything in our power to stop business as usual in this country. It is our duty to disrupt, to boycott, to divest, to ensure that when we look back at history and we know our stories will be written in history, that our struggle will be celebrated, that we know the people standing on the wrong side of history will be condemned, but we can say we did everything in our power to stop it. So as we see in front of us, illustrating a seed for every single Palestinian martyr, 40,000 seeds. Those seeds don't just represent the death of our families, our children, our parents, our cousins, our uncles, and our aunties. The seed represents the seeds of resistance that we are planting today. Because we have said time and time again that we will replant every tree. We will rebuild every home. For every martyr killed, another freedom fighter will be born. And one day, as we stand in joint struggle with our indigenous siblings, we will welcome a free Leonard Peltier in a free Palestine. That is the work that we carry on our shoulders. That is the duty and responsibility that we hold. Thank you, Bay Area, for showing up time and time again. And thank you for reminding the people of the world that we are not complicit in genocide. We will do everything in our power to stop it, and we will see a free Palestine.
Biden, Biden, you can't hide. We charge you with genocide. Biden, Biden, you can't hide. We charge you with genocide. Blinken, Blinken, you can't hide. We charge you with genocide. Blinken, Blinken, you can't hide. We charge you with genocide. Austin, Austin, you can't hide. We charge you with genocide. Austin, Austin, you can't hide. We charge you with genocide. Say Biden, you got blood on your hands. Biden, you got blood on your hands. Say Blinken, you got blood on your hands. Blinken, you got blood on your hands. Say Austin, you got blood on your hands. Austin, you got blood on your hands. You're not listening to people's demands. You're not listening to people's demands. Make some noise. Yeah! Thank you. If you haven't had a chance yet, there's about 30,000 seeds already painted. And unfortunately, we need more seeds to be painted. So please come and take an opportunity to be a part of this mural. Thank you. And up next, please help me welcome the Deputy Director of the Anti-Police Terror Project, who fights to end state violence in Black and Brown Indigenous communities in the Bay Area. They are building the national and international movement to abolish policing and incarceration and create community alternatives everywhere. Please help me welcome James Birch.
Thank you. Thank you. My name is James Birch, and I'm the Deputy Director of the Anti-Police Terror Project. We gather here today not just in solidarity, but in a collective outcry against the atrocities that are unfolding in Gaza. Our Palestinian relatives are living through a nightmare of violence, displacement, and destruction. We must speak out. We must take action, because their struggle is our struggle. I'm going to say that again, because their struggle is our struggle. As descendants of enslaved and colonized people, we know the pain of systemic oppression. For over 450 years, we have endured genocidal actions in support of supremacy and colonialism in the United States. As such, it is our duty to rise up in solidarity with the fight for a free Palestine. We recognize the parallels between our struggle and the Palestinian struggle. The systems of oppression we face, rooted in racism and colonialism, mirror those that Palestinians face daily. Just as our ancestors fought against slavery and segregation, we must fight against the occupation and systemic violence in Palestine. We are also aware of the economic reality of this genocide. As Oakland and San Francisco face budget deficits in the hundreds of millions of dollars, we watch as the United States spends billions of dollars of desperately needed dollars needed to house the thousands of Bay Area residents forced to sleep outside. We watch as violence prevention programs, youth services, healthcare services, mental health programming, library services are cut so we can send bomb after bomb to Palestine. It seems that every department in San Francisco and every department in Oakland is being cut, but the police. It is critical that those of us here draw the connections between the deprivation of resources at home and the expenditure of resources in Palestine to commit genocide. Right, again, Oakland was forced to sell off public land to cover a $177 million deficit this budget cycle. Instead of sending Oakland $177 million to support the people, to support our workers, to support those living on our streets, instead we spent $177 million in drones, bombs, tanks, and other weapons of war to send to Palestine. As black babies here in the Bay Area are going without food because our resources are being spent to murder Palestinian babies on their homeland. And so it is our duty here together to tell the stories of our people, to make the connections between black liberation and liberation across the globe. Because when we unite our struggles and grow the way that we show up for each other, we grow our ability to fight back and to win. As we share space with each other, as we grow and learn and break bread, our movement gets stronger and smarter and more accessible. And it is this growth, this development of the ability to fight another person's fight, to make your struggle my struggle. It is that ability that will lead us to victory. To our Palestinian comrades, your resilience and courage inspire us. Yes. To our allies and accomplices, we thank you for standing with us in this fight. Together, we will continue to fight for collective liberation across the globe. I believe in us here, and I believe in us everywhere. When we fight, we can win. Thank you.
Rise up, resist, need no killer cops or jails. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Rise up, resist, need no killer cops or jails.
The whole damn system is guilty as hell. During the first trial, the first hearing, Barry Trachtenberg, who is a scholar on the Holocaust and genocide, had to go into the courtroom to confirm for the US government that what was happening in Palestine is a crime of genocide. And the reason he had to do that is that it is entirely clear that this government has participated in genocide on this land and across the world for so long, they don't know what it is. So it is our job to tell them again and again not only what it is, but that we are united against all forms of genocide. And that we know that if genocide happens anywhere, it can happen everywhere. And so with that, I want to call up Micah Bazant from Jewish Voice for Peace to speak about how his own and the Jewish history of genocide demands that we act against this genocide. Thank you, Micah.
Hello. My name is Micah Bazant. I'm here as the member of Jewish Voice for Peace Bay Area and as a human being with a conscience to say, stop the genocide! I'm fighting for a free Palestine, not despite being Jewish, but because I am Jewish. Almost all my extended family on both sides were murdered by Nazis. They were burned alive in their synagogues, tortured, and buried in mass graves the same way Israel and the U.S. is doing right now to Palestinians. And we know so many of our families and communities in the Bay Area are survivors of genocides. As Jews, we humbly fight alongside you for an end to occupation from Ohlone land to Palestine. I'm also here as a Jewish trans and queer person to say there is no pride in genocide. As queer people, we refuse the Zionist pinkwashing of our freedom struggles. There is no trans liberation without Palestinian liberation. We know that the Biden administration is responsible for the murder of over 46,000 people. We know that 2 days ago, U.S. weapons were used to massacre over 283 people in Nusrat refugee camp. We know Biden is literally starving over 1 million people to death. Our government could stop this genocide today. They tried to hide their complicity, saying, "We do this for Jewish safety." I am here representing hundreds of thousands of Jews across the Bay and the world to say, Biden, get our names out of your mouth. Stop using us to justify your atrocities. We know that the white Christian evangelical right wants all of us dead. Anti-Zionism is not anti-Semitism. Judaism is a beautiful tradition that has existed for thousands of years. Zionism is a recent racist colonial ideology that's been used to justify apartheid and genocide. Anti-Zionist Bay Area Jews have been in the streets, occupying consulates and state buildings, fighting for ceasefire and divestment, and speaking out against the lies of the Israel lobby. We are the Jewish community. We embody the values of our tradition that say B'Tselem Elohim, all life is sacred. That say Pikuach Nefesh, saving a life overrides everything else in Judaism. My ancestors taught me that the horrors of genocide were made worse because the world stood by and let it happen. As Jews, we refuse to be silent bystanders to genocide. Your families are our families. We know all our safety is bound together. All our ancestors are here with us today, demanding an end to this nightmare. As Jews, we say, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free.
From the river to the sea.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free.
From the sea to the river.
From the sea to the river.
Palestine will live forever.
Palestine will live forever.
Palestine will live forever.
Palestine will live forever.
Said Palestine will live forever.
Palestine will live forever.
Yes, yes, Palestine will live forever. Yes. And to help make that liberation happen, the Palestinian Youth Movement has built a fierce and clear international movement of students and young Palestinians and young people organizing for full liberation for the people of Palestine. Please help me welcome someone who's been part of PYM's tireless local, national, and international movement and mobilization to grow the masses and masses of people for the liberation of Palestine. Violette.
Biden
can't hide.
Biden, Biden, you can't hide.
We charge you with genocide.
We charge you with genocide.
Biden, Biden, you can't hide.
Biden, Biden, you can't hide.
We charge you with genocide.
We charge you with genocide.
Today we stand here in front of this federal building as Israel's deadly invasion of Rafah continues. As we move past 8 months of genocide, we have lost count of the massacres. We have seen every university, every hospital targeted by Israel. We have seen 40,000 Palestinians murdered and massacred. All of it, this suffering, all of this destruction, all of this devastation facilitated and made possible by U.S. backing. Palestinians in our community who have had multiple of their relatives murdered, their homes destroyed, their ways of life devastated, are bravely standing up, recounting the horrors inflicted on their families to a court that itself is complicit in this genocide, demonstrating a righteous dissent at the U.S. role in this genocide. So y'all make some noise for the plaintiffs. I know y'all can do better than that. Make some noise for the plaintiffs. Aiding and abetting a genocide is illegal. It is criminal. And we need to make sure that there is no doubt of this truth, that the historical record will show who was on the right side of history and who allowed these horrors to continue. So make some noise for y'all out here today for being a part of that. The sheer amount of U.S. support, both historically and since October 7th, from arms shipment to backing at the United Nations, makes this genocide possible. This genocide is completely dependent on U.S. support. Over 68% of weapons are shipped from the U.S. to Israel. 68% of Israel's weapons comes from the U.S. And the movement for Palestine is stronger than ever. And yet, the Biden administration continues to provide weapons and billions of dollars in arms for a genocide. We stand today on the shoulders of this monumental moment in history, where people of conscience have driven the call to stop business as usual and shut it down for Palestine all across the globe. You all are a part of this moment today, part of attacking the legal foundation of genocide from South Africa to Oakland. Make some noise for that. And the movement for Palestine is stronger than ever. But what will it take? Biden has said that Rafah was a red line, but invasion of Rafah has continued for weeks. What will it take for Biden to do something? What will it take to stop this? I know that y'all in this crowd over the past 8 months, we've asked ourselves this question over and over again. How do we materially stop this genocide? Despite our best efforts, the United States government refuses to heed our demands for a ceasefire and has instead doubled down on its genocidal endeavors and support. Shame. Shame. So we need to ask ourselves, what more can we do? We can start with what we know, what I just said. The U.S. contributes 68% of the weapons, fund flowing to Israel, giving them the ability to conduct this genocide. We know that these weapons are being used to massacre our people and destroy Gaza. We know that without the support of U.S., Canada, Britain, and Germany, Israel would not have the firepower to destroy every hospital, university, and piece of civilian infrastructure in the Gaza Strip. Now here's something that we did not know. Pulled from the shadows, who is the silent partner that makes the flow of these weapons components from factory to factory possible? Who is the quiet profiteer that transports these weapons? Who is the largest shipper of these deliveries of death? Their name is Maersk, and they use our highways and our cities and our ports and our train tracks to facilitate the transportation of weapons to Israel and make a killing off a killing. Since October 2023, 30% of the ships transporting arms components for Northrop Grumman, for Woodward, for Raytheon, for Lockheed Martin were Maersk liners. Maersk is accelerating the pace of war and death for our people, and it is not slowing down. Maersk is a Danish logistics company, one of the largest on earth, and when it comes to shipping weapons to Israel from the US and Europe, they are the biggest dog in the game. And we see this corporation for what it is, a genocide profiteer trying to make a pretty penny off the death and destruction of our families and our homeland. Shame! Shame! Maersk is hiding in plain sight, and this summer we are unmasking them. The Palestinian youth movement launched the campaign Mask Off Maersk at the People's Conference for Palestine. And now we call on all people of conscience to rise and demand that Maersk cut ties with genocide and that they stop shipping weapons to the Zionist entity. We are done waiting for those in power to have a conscience. We are saying to Biden, to Harris, to all local representatives of this empire, if you won't act an arms embargo, we will. And that's why I'm calling on all of you to join the first global day of action against this war profiteer tomorrow, June 11th, 3 p.m. at their Emeryville office at 1266 66th Street. So you can learn more about this at maskoffmaersk.com or on our Instagram page on Bay Area PYM. So today we are moving into past 8 months of this genocide, and we need to mobilize all our fronts, use all our stops, all our tactics, and all our strategies to stop this genocide and to protect our people. We have an obligation to the men, the women, and the children of Gaza who have already suffered enough violence, unimaginable violence. We have a responsibility to do everything we can to confront all institutions and individuals that are making these decisions that allow this genocide to continue. We are here 8 months later saying we are not going anywhere. So I'm honored to speak with you here today in this powerful day as y'all take on the courts that offer legitimacy and diplomatic cover to the bloody Zionist onslaught on our people. And I hope to see you tomorrow confronting one of the major companies that is facilitating and profiting off of it. So y'all say it with me. Maersk, Maersk, you can't hide. Maersk, Maersk, you can't hide. We charge you with genocide. We charge you with genocide. Maersk, Maersk, you can't hide. Maersk, Maersk, you can't hide. We charge you with genocide. We charge you with genocide. From the river to the sea. From the river to the sea. Palestine will be free. Palestine will be free. Thank y'all so much.
Okay, not only does the U.S. provide weapons and military aid to Israel, but Israel does a job for the United States and for its allies all over the world. Join me in welcoming up Vivek Kambayan from Asaka to talk about the relationship between Israel and the Hindu fascist government in Israel led by Modi. Come on up, Vivek.
I was looking at some information about the case that was heard today, and I learned something really interesting. In March, 3 of the judges of this court went on a trip to Israel, where they met with legal experts and military experts who are directly complicit in this genocide. Thanks to good lawyering from the Center for Constitutional Rights, they asked for one of those judges, they filed a motion for one of those judges to be recused from hearing the case. He was set to be one of the 3 judges on the panel who was going to hear this case today, and he was recused. But I tell that story because I think it's really indicative of the way that the Zionist state operates and just how intertwined it is in all of our institutions, including our courts. And it acts this way around the world. All of us have to care and stand in solidarity with the people of Palestine, because Israel is exporting its legal theories as well as its weapons around the world. They are exporting the legal theories that they use to justify apartheid in Palestine in the form of administrative detention to the United States, where it's being used right now on our southern border. They are exporting these legal theories to India, where it's being used to hold activists indefinitely without charge for months and years on end, to imprison them. While the case that was filed today is important, we need to keep in mind that we cannot rely on the legal system for justice. At the previous court hearing in January, which was dismissed, it was because the court decided that genocide is a policy decision. And so the court cannot intervene in the American government's policy decision to commit genocide in Palestine. These are the same courts that have been set up in order to rationalize the dispossession and genocide of our indigenous siblings here on these lands. The same courts that were set up and have issued opinion after opinion to legalize enslavement that continues to this day for our siblings who are imprisoned. So from here to these indigenous lands, to Palestine, to India, around the world, it is the people that we must rely on in order to bring about freedom for everyone. From here to Palestine. Thank you.
Thank you. Across place and time, Israel has armed authoritarian, fascist regimes and militias, providing not only surveillance and weapons, but also strategies for occupation and ethnic cleansing. And India is the largest buyer of Israeli arms, and from 2019 until today accounts for 37% of Israel's defense exports. Shame. Similarly, Israel has provided weapons and political support for authoritarian presidents of the Filipinos, Duarte, who is using technology, weapons, and training it receives from Israel against its own liberation movement and people now. Help me welcome Sam, the chairperson of Gabriela Oakland, a grassroots organization of Filipina women advancing the struggle for national democracy. She is also a cultural worker, singer, and educator from Solano County. Please help me welcome Sam.
Let's go, Sam.
From Palestine to the Philippines! Stop the U.S. war machine!
Stop the U.S. war machine!
Good morning,
morning, all. I spoke back in January at the Oakland Federal Courtroom nearly 5 months ago as a representative here from the Movement for National Democracy in the Philippines. We are humbled to be here again to extend our solidarity to the plaintiffs, to the entire team that has presented this case, and to the Palestinian cause for liberation and self-determination. In January, I stated that there is an exponential loss of life in every death, in every injury, in every displacement, and every wounded child with no surviving family. And at the time, I meant that in the sense of what is happening in Gaza. But as I understand better each day, this genocide will reverberate and leads inevitably to the killing of many more thousands of people across the world. Every violence against the Palestinian people is violence on my people. I know this in spite of the US-Israel war machine's best attempt at telling me it is not. I know this because in 2 weeks, RIMPAC, short for Rim of the Pacific, the world's largest military exercises will commence, where the Israeli occupation forces will be training with the armed forces of the Philippines, trying out their deadliest weapons of war, of surveillance, and mass subjugation on the occupied land of Hawaii. I know that violence against Palestinians is violence against Filipinos because just 2 months ago, in the Balikatan War Games, the Philippines Army boasted of the modernization of their forces, including an Israeli-made air defense system. I know this because within days of returning to the States after visiting my family in the Philippines, the US-backed armed forces of the Philippines dropped bombs in my family's home province of Ilocos Sur. Do not let anyone tell you that this genocide has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with you. The forces stealing land and stripping it of all of its life are the same forces raping women, men, and children. It's the same forces who take your hard-earned pay and turn it into bombs dropping on refugee camps. It's the forces that try to keep us alienated from one another so that we don't see the dignity and innate value of the most oppressed and the most exploited. The forces that try to make us doubt the potential of our collective power. This court and these institutions that we are making these appeals to, they may feel bound by what they say is their jurisdiction. As one judge even said back in January, they feel powerless as this genocide was a matter of foreign policy. These institutions may feel powerless, but all I feel right now is power. I feel the power of the people. We are not worthy of the power that the Palestinian people have shown us, but we get to learn from them anyway. We get to work alongside them for our shared liberation from the chains of colonialism and capitalism. Thank you all so much. Long live international solidarity!
Long live international solidarity!
International solidarity is not only crucial on principle, it is not just that we share the heartbreak of the loss of all lives, and right now, 40,000 Palestinian lives. It is not just that our resistance is parallel. As Sam described, as Vivek described, as James described, as Stop Cop City Ohlone Land described, our struggles share enemies. And so to win all of our liberation, we need to organize against the US government, against the State of Israel, and against Zionism. And that is a necessity and a practical necessity, not just a principle. Sorry. So we are going to ask you to be on the streets tomorrow. We are going to ask you to continue with all of our forms of solidarity. Zionism is racism. So anti-Zionism is anti-racism. Zionism and Israel export repression all over the world. So anti-Zionism is anti-repression. And Zionism and U.S. imperialism, it is fascism. And so anti-Zionism is anti-fascism. We are getting stronger. They will try to criminalize us, to criminalize anti-Zionism, and it is because they know we are winning. And like all empires, the colonial apartheid state of Israel will fall. And so will Zionism. Long live international solidarity. Long live Palestine. Please continue to join us on the streets. Continue to join us in the courtrooms. Get involved in boycott, divestments, and sanctions. Support your teachers who are teaching about Palestine. And thank you so much for being out today. Thank you to our painters for these beautiful seeds of resistance. Free! Free Palestine!
Free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
Set free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
Say, I have a dream!
I have a dream!
From the bay to Palestine!
To Palestine!
All our people will be free!
All our people will be free!
Set free, 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 free!
Free, 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 free!
Said, I have a dream!
I have a dream!
From the bay to Palestine!
To Palestine!
All our people will be free!
All our people will be free!
Set free, 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 free! Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
Set free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
Okay, so our very last speaker, and then we are done. Noam from the International Jewish Solidarity.